Welcome back to the third video in this mini-series, Engaging Social Posts for Your Ideal Art Buyer. So last week we talked about how to make your ideal art buyer profile, and it looked something like this. We figured out the thing that your buyer wants most in the world, and then we also figured out how we can help them, not necessarily to achieve that. You're not going to be the only catalyst in them getting the thing that they want most, but you are going to be a piece of it. So how can you help them, or how can you make their day better in regards to the thing that they want the most? We also went over the things that you might have in common with your ideal art buyer and their personality, and then we kind of made a story about fitting all of these things like demographics and what they did on an average day and their interests into the thing that they want most and how you can help them make their day better. So you have a really clear idea of the type of person who would really connect with your art. So now this week what we're going to do is we're going to be talking more about how to take this profile and turn it into social media posts that will resonate with those people and also move them through the buying process. Likes and comments are great, but if they are not helping them move closer to buying your art, it's kind of a waste of your time. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. The first part of this is the connection piece. So we are going to talk about two different pieces. One is connection and one is engagement. We'll talk about the connection first. So from your profile, we're going to pull out 4 different categories that we're going to be talking about. 2 are interests from the Hey Me Too category. 1 is a personal value from the Hey Me Too category, and also the thing they want most. Let me show you what this looks like real quick. I'm going to show you how to take your ideal art buyer profile and turn it into the beginning of your social media post. This is the connection piece. So you are going to, per the slides, take 2 categories from the Hey Me Too that are pretty easy for you to talk about, things that you're interested in. So for Karen's, we will use family and others' experiences in the world. We'll break that down to something like cultural differences. So then we will go, and I like mind maps, can you tell? We will change this to family, cultural differences, and embracing differences is a value, so that can be our third Hey Me Too. We'll put that up here. Can't type. Okay, and then you also have the series you want to sell this quarter, and you have your big why. So I'm just going to show you an example of how you can use this to create tons of topics to talk about in a very short amount of time. Obviously, Karen is not here at this point, so I am making this up from here on out. So apologies, Karen, if I screw it up. Okay, so family. Maybe she wants to talk about the things they do together. Maybe she wants to talk about the memories attached to certain objects. And then keep going. Add a lot more, but I'm going to keep breaking it down to show you how to get to one story that you will use for one social media post. So, memories attached to certain objects. Maybe in her latest piece, we're going to go back to the example of the thimble. and jacks. Let's say those are both in the same piece, and those are things that she might want to talk about because they have a history for her. And then she might want to tell the story of how her grandmother made all her clothes. I used that because mine did. And then she might want to talk about the pink dress that was her favorite. And then she feels inspired, so she also wants to talk about how she used to play with her thimble and make believe she sewed. And then something else strikes, and she remembers how she used to use the thimble at tea parties. Imaginary tea parties. And at those tea parties, she would have her bunny and her frog stuffed animal. And they all drink chamomile tea. Okay, so this one and this one are ones that I would use for a single social post. I would keep breaking them down until you get to something that you can talk about in a way that people can visualize. And that is the easiest way to come up with tons of topics for the beginning of your social post and make real connections through those posts. This also solves the problem of not knowing what to talk about the same thing over and over. So let's say you have a series for sale this quarter, and there are only 10 pieces in this series. And you don't know how to make 3 months worth of social posts over 3 pieces. So just by doing this, you've already got, well, there's 2. But if I wanted to talk a few more things about this, a few more things about that, a few more things about this, and then break this one down, you end up with, 20 ways to talk about the memories attached to the object in this one painting. So it really also helps build a story around each piece of art and tell people what you are about, why you make the things you do, and why it is important to you, and also helps them understand the personal connections that they might have with it. Maybe they had a pink dress that was their favorite, and they're like, oh yeah, I remember that. Buddy, shh. And maybe that they remember that they used to have thimbles full of tea parties because they read the book Thumbelina, and that was their inspiration. I don't remember if that's an actual thing. It's been so long since I read that book. But anyway, you get the idea. So breaking these down serves 2 purposes. 1, makes a connection with them, and 2, gives you lots of stuff to talk about. The second half of your post is going to be more about moving them through the buying process as opposed to making the connection. You've already solidified that piece, and now you want to help them know more about you, about your art, follow you, share you, but also you want to be generous and you want to start conversations and care about what they feel. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Like I said, second half is leading them through the buying process. Uh-oh. Okay. Half your posts are going to be giving, whether that is actually giving them something like a digital print, or maybe that looks like an inspirational quote. That is something that is just for them. There's no ulterior motive here. You are just being generous. It also might look like you asking them questions or trying to figure out what they care about and how they feel and how they think, and just starting conversations and making those genuine connections with people. But you cannot have a business without also asking. So this piece is either going to be creating awareness, which looks like either talking about what you do or what you have for sale. You might be building trust by showing them your process or what it looks like when they buy from you. And you might also just be selling. Sometimes selling doesn't necessarily have to mean, hey, buy my thing, but it's sign up for my newsletter, follow me, check out this piece on my website, share me with a friend. Maybe you're sharing a deadline to buy something that you have for sale. And sometimes that does look like, hey, I have this piece for sale. If you want it, reply that you want to buy it, or buy it at the link in my website. So it's really a mix of doing the things that will help warm them up to buying from you, as opposed to just straight up asking for the sale. But sometimes you do want to do that as well. So then you're going to put them together. You're going to take the story, any one of your stories from your mind map that we just talked about, and then you're going to take one engagement piece. Half the time that's going to be a giving piece, half the time that is going to be an asking piece. And you are just going to meld those together and add a call to action on the end, and there you have a social media post. Sorry, chickens and dogs, and it's noisy out here. What was I saying? So for example, let's make one up. Let's say that we are going to be talking about that pink dress that Karen's grandmother made with the thimble in the piece and how it was her favorite. So you might go into that story about her grandmother. It doesn't have to be a long story. Even 2 sentences can qualify as a story. When I was little, my grandmother used to sew all of my clothes. My favorite was this pink dress, and it had the most beautiful ruffles, and all the girls wanted one just like it. So then we want to put that together with one of the engagement pieces. So let's say for this one we are asking them to share your account with a friend. You might say something like, do you know anyone whose grandmother used to sew them clothes? If so, tag them below. Something like that. So it doesn't have to be this super salesy post all the time. Even something as simple as that can create a lot of momentum for you, because they are sharing a memory that they know their friend would have with them, and they are already a great prospect for being interested in your art. So when they start sharing memories with other people that they know have that same memory, they're helping you make that connection. So selling doesn't always look like, hey, buy my piece. Hey, buy my piece. It looks like building a audience of people who are interested in what you do, and they might not buy that piece straight off the bat just by coming over to your profile. So they might go click around and try to find out more about you, and maybe another post says sign up for my newsletter, and they'll go, oh, okay, I'm interested in that, and they'll go click on your newsletter, and it'll say something along the lines of how you help people. And one of those of Karen's was sharing memories, and they're already interested in that, so they're going to sign up for your newsletter. And then they're going to start hearing from you on a regular basis, and you're going to be building trust with them. And that is when you start making the sales. The problem that most artists have with social media is they expect someone to see something, like it, and buy it. That's not often the case. It happens once in a rare while, but putting all your stock in that is not a winning way to build a customer base. That is what you want to do. You want to build a customer base. Like if you were a gallery, they have a list of people who are interested in the art that they curate, and they reach out to them on a regular basis, say, here's the new stuff that we have, here's what's going on, here's a cool new event you might want to come to, and they bring those people in, and then they become customers. They don't just email out a list of the art they have for sale and all of a sudden sales start rolling in. That's just not really the way that the world works. So what I want you to do now is I want you to go make, let's say 6 social media posts to have a nice round number, and you're going to have a story in front of each one. And then 3 of them are going to be giving posts, and 3 of them are going to be asking posts. Use the formula that I talked about throughout this video. Go back and review the giving portion and the selling portion, or the asking portion, sorry, if you need a little bit of a refresher. And just see what kind of interaction you get this week based on that change in your social media. If you enjoyed this series and it's something that you know will really make a difference in your art business, you want to go deeper, you want more instruction, more how-tos, more step-by-step, go over to my website, click on the Work With Me tab, and you will learn more about my 6-week small group program with very intensive personal feedback. So what you will get out of that program is 2 big things. One, you will walk away with your ideal art buyer profile. So you will know who they are, what they care about, what you have in common with them, what to talk to them about, and why they care about your art. The second thing you're going to walk away with is a custom daily caption plan. So for the next 3 months, you will have exactly what to write every day, what story to tell, and what you want to ask them to do or what you want to give. And you will put those together into your social caption, plug them in, and you will have a rocking social media where you will never have to figure out what to say again to make social media work to your advantage. This program will be delivered through 3 live interactive classes taught by me, where we will go over all of this in a lot more detail and talk over your questions as we go and get all of this figured out for you, so by the time you leave you will have those 2 promises that I made to you. You will have your ideal art buyer and you will have your custom plan. After each class, you will also get custom individual feedback from me. So I will have you create part of your ideal art buyer profile on the call and then maybe finish it up through a little bit of homework, and then you'll turn it into me and I will look over everything and make sure that you are on the right track. See where your blind spots are. Make sure that it all makes sense. Once we've finished up with your ideal art buyer profile, we'll be going into your social media posts. So you'll actually be turning in 3 weeks of your social media posts. That's 21 posts altogether, where I will go through and look at each one and tell you what you're missing or how you could tell that better, or really just kind of honing in your writing skills and helping you learn from your own writing. So you will have a much better idea how to make your voice more clear and strong and effective. Class starts on October 16th, so if you're interested, I want you to jump on this. Go to my website, click on the Work With Me tab, read all about it, see if it's something that you're interested in, and there's a button that says Ask Me Questions. Click on that, ask me whatever you have, and I will give you an honest answer about if I think this is something for you, if I think it can help you, if I can help you with the thing that you're wanting. If we're a good fit, I want to see you in class next Wednesday so I can help you make these engaging social posts for your ideal art buyer. I will see you soon.